We've learned the man suspected in a drunk driving crash that killed a Colts player and an Uber driver was in the country illegally. And just minutes ago, we got court papers showing his blood alcohol content was nearly 3 times the legal limit.
We'll get to that in just a second. But first tonight, we want to talk about the 2 families who are now mourning those lives lost. Yesterday, we shared with you the tributes to Colts player Edwin Jackson. And now today, we're hearing from Jeffrey Monroe's family as well.
They talked to our Rich Van Wyk about how they will remember their loved one.
John, from everything I'm told, Jeff Monroe worked hard, looked after his friends, relatives, and yes, even strangers. He was driving Uber to make some extra money to make a very special trip. People who knew and loved Jeff Monroe say he was everything a friend or relative could ask for. His brother-in-law, James.
I loved him to death.
And his nephew, Steve.
Always there to help people. His nieces and nephews were like his kids.
Jeff and his wife, Deborah, didn't have children. They loved and looked after each other and the people they knew.
Just as a guy who would go out of his way for anybody. I mean, it doesn't matter who you were. Friend, family, stranger, made no difference to him.
Monroe, an Uber driver, pulled over on I-70, police say, because his passenger, Colts linebacker Edwin Jackson, was sick. It's no surprise to his family that Monroe got out of the car to help.
I'll get you out, and we'll do what we got to do, and get you back in the car and take back off.
The family is wrestling with grief and anger. Manuel Orrego Zavala, police say, was driving drunk and without a license when he rammed into the stopped car, killing both men. He has a previous conviction for driving without a license.
He chose to get behind the wheel of a vehicle after drinking. That's not an accident.
Monroe worked for decades for the same company. The extra money he earned driving for Uber was taking the couple to the 2020 Olympics.
That was his next goal, was to go to the Olympics.
You could see the pain in his voice, hear it in his face, just the way everything looked and felt. That family's in pain. So is the family of Edwin Jackson. They're speaking out from Atlanta. We will hear from them at 6 o'clock.
All right, our prayers for both of those families tonight. Thank you so much, Rich.
As for the man accused of causing the crash, state police discovered he has no driver's license. He was using a fake name, and he had been deported several times. And
tonight at 5 o'clock, our Jenny Runovich has more now on the paper trail that police say they found after this weekend's arrest. Jenny.
Yeah, Andrea and John, police say this man was an undocumented immigrant who ran from the scene of the crash and got caught by troopers on a ramp off the highway. They told us he gave them a false name at first, and he showed definite signs he'd been drinking. Well, then police started digging a little further and discovered his real name, Manuel Orrego Zavala, 37 years old, who's actually a citizen of Guatemala. They also found out that he'd been deported twice, in 2007 and again in 2009. Investigators say dating back to 2007, he had been using an alias, actually several, and had a paper trail of run-ins with the law. Police won't release specifics, but they told me they are mostly traffic offenses, including driving without a license in Boone County, which he pleaded guilty to just this past fall.
It allows us a history of driving offenses that he's had, any other arrests that he's had, and all those aliases started linking together. And we actually discovered that he has several aliases, different combinations of his names that have gone into legal paperwork.
Now, bottom line, and why police are so disheartened by this one, is that a man allegedly chose to drink alcohol and get behind the wheel. It is a decision that led to 2 deaths and has 2 families in mourning tonight. Now, Orrego Zavala is in the Marion County Jail tonight, John. Immigration officials actually have a hold on him, so even if he bonds out on these charges, he won't be released to the public. And, you know, John, because of this man's status, it does have people questioning how he could be deported twice and then return to the U.S. again. We'll take a look at that process. We ask those questions as well. We'll bring it to you tonight at 6.
Yeah, it's a natural question,
Sure.
I think, that a lot of people would have.
It is.
Thank you, Jenny.